Part 8. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 71. Speaking of this, Cao Tianxiao looked at Suren. I wonder what your business is, sir. Before Suren could answer. At this time, a person from Chao Tian Pavilion ran in from outside and reported. Pavilion Master, the person you asked us to arrest has been arrested. Tie him up in the yard now. Haha, okay. Cao Tianxiao looked at Suren and invited. Please, Mr. Ren, I caught this person specially for you. It's a small gesture. In the yard, Wu Laoliu looked around with fear. He was obviously cautious in doing things and never dared to offend the three major forces in the city. He didn't understand why the people from Chao Tian Pavilion would arrest him. And looking at the expression of his captor, it seemed that he was really in trouble. He also wanted to escape, but in Sin City, he had no chance to escape. He only resisted twice before being suppressed. Looking at Cao Tianxiao walking out, Wu Laoliu naturally knew him after hanging out here for so many years. So he hurriedly begged for mercy and said, Lord Pavilion Master, I know my mistake. I know my mistake. I beg you to spare my life. After Wu Laoliu finished speaking, he knocked his head to the ground and never dared to look directly at Cao Tianxiao again. Haha, where did you go wrong? After hearing Cao Tianxiao's question, Wu Laoliu thought about it but couldn't figure out where he went wrong. The only bad thing I have done in the past few days is to trick an outsider. But the other party had died outside the city half a month ago, and because of this, Bai Xiaosheng was also imprisoned by the Qinglong Society. Could it be that man's identity is not simple? Would it actually alarm the Qinglong Society and Chao Tian Pavilion? But it's been half a month since this happened. If I wanted to settle the matter, I would have done so a long time ago. There was no way I could wait until now. You look up and see who he is. Hearing this, Wu Laoliu slowly raised his head, and then saw Suren's transformed face. Wu Laoliu took a step back in shock because his hands were tied behind his back. Without any center of gravity, he fell to the ground. Why didn't you die outside the city? He knew that the people sent by Bai Xiaosheng failed, but after asking around, he also learned that Suren never came back before dark. No one saw Suren return to Huayun City. It's common sense that no one should spend the night outside the city. So he concluded that Suren was dead. But now the other party is still standing in front of him alive. And it seems that Cao Tianxiao attaches great importance to him. It's over. This is the only thought in Wu Laoliu's mind at this time. I'm not dead. It seems I've disappointed you, Wu Laoliu. Rare. Wu Laoliu wanted to beg for mercy, but he found that he was speechless. I could only open my mouth with difficulty. The water in his body was quickly sucked out. In less than a moment, there was only one mummy left in the yard. When the people around Chao Tian Pavilion saw this strange scene, they couldn't help but take a step back. A living being turned into a mummy in front of them. The whole process takes less than a few seconds. Although the scene was not bloody at all, it was enough to scare them. Cao Tianxiao took a deep breath and glanced at Suren with some fear. He is also a person who was killed from a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. How tenacious he is to be able to get to this day. But this method of killing people invisibly made him shudder. There seems to be no way to prevent this. The unknown is the scariest thing. No wonder his son was so scared when he mentioned this person just now. Mr. Ren, are you satisfied? Suren nodded. When does it start tomorrow? Seeing Suren's agreement, Cao Tianxiao breathed a sigh of relief and said. It will be 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. It is getting late today. I will arrange for Mr. Ren to stay first. Cao Tianxiao took the bank card sent by his subordinates, handed it to Suren and said. Mr. Ren, the money has been transferred. Please check it. Tomorrow I will send someone to take over Mr. Ren. Su-Ren nodded and left here under the leadership of the people from Chaotian Pavilion. After Su-Ren left, Cao Tianxiao took Cao Shaoqing back to the house. After asking someone to guard the door, he asked, Shaoqing, do you know who is arresting you? Cao Shaoqing shook his head. I haven't seen them before. They shouldn't be masters from Sin City. I heard their accents. It does sound a bit like the accent of Taiguo and Ueguo. Taiguo Ueguo. Cao Tianxiao walked and thought for a while, then murmured to himself. Could it be that the people from the Qinglong Society and the Lihuo gang are colluding with outsiders to deal with our Chaotian Pavilion? We have to be careful tomorrow. I don't think it's that simple. Dad, can you beat Ren Pingsheng? Cao Shaoqing was a little curious as to whether his father's level 7 strength could cope with that man's mysterious moves. Cao Tianxiao shook his head. I don't know either. I was so close to him just now and I didn't notice how he released his skills. The whole process is completely traceless. We cannot completely trust this person and must be on guard against him. Then can you guess what his occupation is? Cao Tianxiao thought for a while and said slowly. Maybe, a water mage or something. He can control the water in the human body. Tomorrow we will not only have to guard against the Qinglong Society and the Agni Gang. We need to prepare more water resistance equipment and potions. I always feel that this person is a greater threat than the other two. And we don't know whether he met you by chance or if he waited there deliberately. Dad, one more thing, didn't he leave the city half a month ago? Cao Shaoqing said. Why can he spend half a month outside the city? Whoever goes out at night will die. This. Cao Tianxiao frowned and said. It really doesn't make sense here, unless. Dad, unless what? Unless he is Su-Ren, the person who caused a stir about the Dragon Kingdom exam half a month ago. In the records, he is the only one who came back from the night outside the city unharmed. But I've seen Su-Ren's face online, and it's not like his. There are many ways to disguise yourself in the world. If he is really Su-Ren, that's $5 billion. The two looked at each other, the greed in their eyes flashing away. 40 billion dragon coins, excluding the other two companies' share and city defense and other expenses, they need to save for 5 years to have this much. No one thinks they have too much money, and so do they. We will consider this matter in the long term. We need to find out his true identity. If he is really Su-Ren, we need to be even more careful and we must not let him make the first move. As the sky darkened, the sounds in the room gradually became quieter. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 72. In a room in Sin City. A man roared angrily and punched the wall in front of him. What a bunch of trash. There are so many people who can't even catch anyone who can't reach the 3rd level. How can I dare to trust these people? The person standing behind him glanced at the shattered wall, hunched over and asked. Master, do you want to continue with tomorrow's plan? The plan goes on as usual. I have been planning for this day for 3 years. How can I give up just because I say it? Go down and get ready. Yes, Master. August 15th, 999 in the Dragon Kingdom calendar. Today is the day of the annual election of the City Lord in Sin City. During this 3-day period, everyone does not need to pay temporary residence fees. Without the pressure of money, there have been a lot fewer people going out of the city to kill monsters in the past 2 days. Because most people went to Ziwicheng Martial Arena to watch the battle. The major casinos in Sin City also opened at this time, and the odds for the 3 major forces were 1 to 2. It depends on whether these gamblers in the city dare to gamble. Does anyone know who the 3 major forces have invited to participate? Without figuring out the specific situation, some people are still waiting and watching. Hey, listen to me, press all on the fire gang. Why? Tell me. The Lihuo gang hired a foreign aide this time, named Tai Kuang. Tai Kuang? The fire gang actually invited him. Someone exclaimed, obviously knowing Tai Kuang's reputation. Yes, you must also know Tai Kuang's name. 3 years ago, he had a conflict with the Lord of Tehu City and directly massacred 32 members of the Lord of Tehu City's family. Subsequently, he was ordered to be wanted by the Dragon Kingdom, and he even killed dozens of pursuers during his escape. Then he disappeared to this day. After everyone listened, they nodded and said, I didn't expect that the leader of the Agni gang saved him. It seems that the Agni gang is more likely to take charge of Sin City this time. Then we'll put all the pressure on the Agni gang. Wait. Someone shook his head and said, Tai Kuang is nothing, he just killed a small town lord who was relatively powerful. Do you know who the Qinglong Club invited? Oh? Could it be that the person King Glonghui hired this time is more powerful than Tai Kuang? Oh, it's more than powerful. Have you ever heard of the name of Zhu Huang in Blood Clothes? Blood-clothed Zhu Huang? Is he the unparalleled murderer who always brings blood when he kills? I heard that he massacred thousands of people in one night, and the blood on his body stained his white clothes blood. That's right. Others don't want their own blood to be stained when they kill people. Zhu Huang is different. He likes to let other people's blood spill on his clothes. He was said to enjoy it. Longguo has been looking for him for more than 10 years, but has not been able to arrest him so far. How do you think he compares to Tai Kuang? Hearing this, everyone hesitated. I still choose Tai Kuang. It is said that the Agni gang built a battle armor made of black gold material for Tai Kuang. It might be difficult for Zhu Huang to break through his black gold armor. Suanjin? Real or fake? Every small piece of Suanjin is worth millions. How much does a set of armor cost? The metals used to build equipment are divided into divine gold, black gold and ordinary metals according to their grades. The walls of Sin City were built with black gold. The equipment created by Xianjin is already comparable to legendary equipment. Even ordinary ones are equivalent to epic equipment. A set of equipment made of black gold must be more powerful than ordinary legendary equipment. Tai Kuang's strength and equipment bonus made many people choose to buy Agni to help him win. I believe in Tai Kuang, I will buy Fiery Fire to help win. Of course, some people believe in Zhu Huang's hard power. I believe Zhu Huang, I will win if I buy Qinglong. The two groups of people each bought their own things. Only a few people were confused and said, have you forgotten Chaotian Pavilion? Forget it about Chaotian Pavilion, they still haven't found the right person until yesterday. Didn't it mean that someone saved their young master and has become Chaotian Pavilion's foreign aide this time? Haha, it's just a matter of time. Do you think a random person from Chaotian Pavilion is a match for Tai Kuang and Zhu Huang? I think Chaotian Pavilion has simply given up on the fight for the city master. That makes sense. I'll also buy Agni to help you win. The Sin City arena looks similar to the Colosseum in ancient Rome. The entire martial arts arena is circular and open air, and can accommodate tens of thousands of people watching the battle at the same time. In the center of the fighting arena is a fighting ring made of black gold, with some indelible blood stains still vaguely visible on it. The entrance ticket to the martial arts arena is 1 million. Although the price is expensive, tens of thousands of seats are still filled with people. Dongfang Qinglong, the president of the Qinglong Society, was the lord of Sui City last year. At this time, he was standing on the ring and explaining the rules of this competition to everyone present. In this competition, each of the three parties will send 10 people to take turns challenging the other party's participants. The rules are also very simple. Whoever stands at the end will be the final winner. The final winner will be the leader of the city for the next year. After Dongfang Qinglong finished speaking, the whole place immediately became excited. This year is actually a life and death arena. This ticket is worth the money. I want to see the blood flowing like a river. These people are all desperados, and they are eager to see the three major forces fighting you to the death. They don't care who is who. The more brutal the game, the more excited they are. What is the arena of life and death? Someone who had just entered Sin City asked. The arena of life and death, as the name suggests, means whoever goes up there will either stay alive and accept the challenges from the other two forces in turn. Either you die in the ring. This is a fight to the death. Wouldn't it be a big disadvantage for the one who goes up first? Haha, who cares whether you suffer or not? You have to work hard for the three major forces to get better living conditions. You have to be prepared to die at any time. Of course, there are also cannon fodders who are forced to go up. They have handles or have relatives in the hands of the three major forces. They have to go up even if they don't. I didn't expect this year to be a life and death arena. I guess some of the people invited by the three major forces are already starting to regret it. I heard that both the Green Dragon Society and the Agni Fire Gang hired a ruthless person for the finale. This year's competition is definitely more exciting than in previous years. When the crowd slowly calmed down, Dongfang Qinglong looked at the time and said loudly, "Now the game begins." Dongfang Qinglong glanced at one person in his team, then left the ring and walked back to his seat. Last year, the Qinglong Club was in charge of Suchen, and the first person to appear was also a member of the Qinglong Club. Everyone looked at the Qinglong Club team to see which unlucky guy would be the first to play. I saw an evil-looking middle-aged man stepping into the ring holding a sword. Dressed in white, he clasped his fists around him, then smiled evilly and said, "I, Zhu Huang, am the first to challenge you. I hope my clothes today can be my favorite color." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 73. Hiss. Some people in the stands took a breath and looked at the man in white on the ring in shock. Is he Zhu Huang? Famous is not as good as meeting. This Zhu Huang looks harmless, but he is much more ruthless than us. Why did the Qinglong Club let him play from the beginning? Aren't you afraid that he would be consumed to death by the battle? Hey, if you look at him like that, it's obvious that he did it voluntarily. He doesn't pay attention to other people at all. Being too confident will lead to failure sooner or later. Su Ren glanced at this man, and then looked at Cao Tianxiao and his son. You didn't say this was a life and death arena. Mr. Ren, I'm sorry, we don't know either. The competition method every year is decided by the city lord of that year, so like you, we only know now. How do you think you can take action? Cao Tianxiao tried to ask. You can take action if you want me to, but you have to add more money, 5 billion, not a penny less. Cao Tianxiao narrowed his eyes. 5 billion is not that much even if he gets the position of city lord for more than a year. 3 billion is already the limit of what he can spend. However, Cao Tianxiao remained calm on the surface. In order to stabilize Su Ren, he nodded and said, "Can. Then let's pay first." Su Ren directly threw the business card to him. This. Cao Tianxiao was a little embarrassed. "Mr. Ren, I don't have that much cash, I need to raise it slowly. I can pay half of the deposit first. This is fair to everyone. What do you think?" Su Ren glanced at him again and said with a smile, "That's okay, I'm easier to talk to." Seeing Cao Tianxiao transfer the money neatly, Su Ren took back the card and put it away. Yesterday, it took a servant to transfer 1 billion, but today it was transferred so quickly to 2.5 billion. Surenke didn't believe that he didn't have that much cash. I don't know what Cao Tianxiao is planning, but Suren isn't afraid of him either. If he dared to do something to him, Suren wouldn't mind letting him know how he died. On the ring, Zhu Huang glanced around and saw that no one was participating in the battle. He couldn't help but said displeasedly, "What? Are you two going to abstain? I won't be happy if you give up before I start playing." At this time, Cao Tianxiao glanced at a person in his team, pointed at him and said, "You go." He knew that the people in front were just cannon fodder, so it was better to let his own people go up first, so that he could see Suren's strength earlier. The man who was pointed out took out his own weapon and dagger, and then walked towards the ring tremblingly. Seeing someone finally taking the stage, everyone in the stands began to cheer. It's finally starting. They couldn't wait to see how Zhu Huang tortured and killed others. There is no etiquette between the two parties on the ring. As soon as they step on the ring, it means that the battle has begun. The man Cao Tianxiao called up disappeared as soon as he came on stage. Zhu Huang was the only one left in the ring. Zhu Huang raised the corners of his mouth slightly. "That's great. I just like the feeling of a cat catching a mouse. Just hide it well. Little mouse, I'm here to find you." As soon as Zhu Huang finished speaking, a figure came out from behind. Just listen to puff. It was the sound of a sword piercing the chest. Zhu Huang pulled out his sword, and then slashed out with a backhand sword at an extremely fast speed. Although the assassin did not die with the first sword, the second sword directly cut his throat. A large amount of blood spurted out, and Zhu Huang did not avoid it, but stood there quietly and let the other party's blood spurt onto him. After these two sword strikes, the assassin still had a little blood left, but with the flow of blood all over his body, his death was only a matter of time. Zhu Huang watched the other party slowly fall, shook his head and said, "You're too weak, I'm disappointed." The audience was silent at first, and then cheered. "Okay, good fight. Ha ha ha, it looks good this way." As expected of Zhu Huang in blood, he gave such a perfect performance right from the start. Watching him kill people, it feels more like an art to me. Why do I feel that that person took the initiative to hit his sword? There seems to be something wrong with his sword. Zhu Huang listened to the discussions around him, smiled and clasped his fists. "Thank you for your support. It's an honor to have you like it. Next, it's the people from the Agni gang, right?" Zhu Huang looked towards the area where the members of the Agni Fire gang were, his eyes full of expectation. Suren looked at Zhu Huang, wondering how this man could see through the assassin's attack. Intuition? Or simply reacting quickly enough? Suren seemed to have known that the assassin would appear at that location, so he thrust out the sword in advance. This created an illusion, making others look like the assassin had taken the initiative to bump into him. "Mr. Ren, are you sure you can kill him?" Cao Tianxiao, who was sitting behind Suren, asked. "It's easy to kill him." Hearing Suren's affirmative answer, Cao Tianxiao felt relieved, but also a little worried about Suren's relaxation. Judging from the current strength of the blood-clothed Zhu Huang, even if he takes action personally, he may not be able to take advantage. But Suren's answer was so relaxed, and Suren's expression didn't look like he was pretending. This also made him even more afraid. On the ring, just as Zhu Huang finished speaking, a strong man as tall as a mountain jumped onto the ring from the area where the Lihuo gang was. "I'm here to fight you. I want to see if the so-called blood-clothed Zhu Huang is worthy of his name." Looking at the strong man in front of him, Zhu Huang smiled. "Okay, a mouse died just now, and now a cow has arrived. You should let me play for a while, right?" Listening to Zhu Huang's mocking tone, the strong man roared angrily, took out two mountain axes, and then took the initiative to attack Zhu Huang. Boom! Boom! Two loud noises sounded in the ring, and the whole ring was shaken by the strong man's two axes. Zhu Huang took a step to the side before the opponent's double axe struck. It's just one step moved. Zhu Huang looked at him and commented with a smile. Yes, you have enough power, but your speed is very slow. Can it be faster? When the strong man heard this, he swept out with both axes. Zhu Huang moved one step again to avoid the sharp edge of the axe. The axe blade swept past Zhu Huang's clothes, but only just a little bit. Every time it's just a little bit different. Too slow. Zhu Huang shook his head. I'll give you one more chance. If you fail to hit me again, I'm going to hit you. Never has a strong man suffered such an insult. Roared again. The whole person swung his double axe, and then started spinning on the ring. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 74. Looking at the strong man who had begun to spin slowly, everyone in the stands could not help but talk. Is Zhu Huang in trouble now? To be overconfident is to be arrogant. Being hit by such a whirlwind, I feel that at least half of my life will be sacrificed. It would be fine if we were in another wide area. The arena is limited and there is not much room to hide. Let's see how he solves it. However, Zhu Huang did not panic, and just took a few steps back casually. Hey, it's kind of interesting, but not much. Zhu Huang smiled calmly, and then found the right moment to stab with his sword. The strong man's axe had already hit Zhu Huang's neck, but just barely. Zhu Huang took one step ahead of him and pierced his neck with his sword. Blood spurted out again. Zhu Huang retracted his sword and took 2 steps back. The strong man covered his neck with one hand and attacked Zhu Huang again with an axe in the other. Although Zhu Huang's sword stabbed his neck, he still had a lot of blood. This sword only cost him a third of his health. He must kill Zhu Huang as soon as possible to stop the bleeding, otherwise his blood bar will continue to decrease as the blood flows out. The blood is quite thick, but it's a pity that it's all in vain. Zhu Huang easily dodged the strong man's axe, and then stabbed the strong man in the thigh with his backhand sword. Before the strong man could react, the sword hit his other thigh again. The strong pain and the constant loss of blood made the strong man kneel on the ground. He couldn't touch Zhu Huang at all. The other party was just playing tricks on his mentality. The strong man's consciousness became increasingly blurred, and then he couldn't hold on any longer and collapsed. What kind of profession is Zhu Huang? His speed is too fast. He was playing each other the whole time. It seems that these people pose no threat to him at all. I just wonder if Tai Kuang has a chance. Tai Kuang is better at defense and explosive offense. I'm afraid I won't even be able to get a hold of him when facing Zhu Huang. No wonder Qinglong Club dared to let Zhu Huang play first. These people simply can't let him use his full strength. Area for members of the Agni Gang. Tai Kuang just glanced at it and closed his eyes. Xiong Ba, leader of the Agni Gang, asked. Are you sure? Tai Kuang nodded. What he relies on is just speed. I'm covered in black gold armor, and with my indestructible passive skill. As long as he can't stab my body, he can't break my defense. If I'm outside the ring, I can't do anything to him, but in the ring, I can hit him. Okay, then I feel relieved. Chaotian Pavilion is nothing to worry about. If you defeat Zhu Huang, the position of City Lord this year will be mine. Dongfang Qinglong looked at Zhu Huang on the ring, but his mind was not on him. He let Zhu Huang play first, just to bring the game to a climax early. Only when everyone is staring at what is happening in the ring can he complete his work quietly. Dongfang Qinglong called a person beside him and whispered a few words to him softly. The man bent over and nodded, quickly stood up and left the fighting arena. Cao Tianxiao, who had been staring at Dongfang Qinglong and Xiong Ba, saw this scene and ordered his 2 men to go out. Dongfang Qinglong seemed to have noticed Cao Tianxiao's movements, but he didn't pay attention. Just smiled at him. Then he looked at the ring again. Cao Tianxiao glanced at Dongfang Qinglong with a cold face and murmured. There must be something fishy about this old guy Dongfang Qinglong. Maybe he colluded with outsiders to catch my son. I just don't know what his purpose is. Does he want to take charge of Sin City? At this time, Chaotian Pavilion had once again sent someone to challenge Zhu Huang. This man was a necromancer, and he had already summoned dozens of undead skeletons before he even took the stage. Some of these undead skeletons are holding knives, some are holding bows, and some are holding staffs. Just like a small army. So many undead skeletons swarmed onto the ring, instantly making the entire ring narrow. Zhu Huang frowned when he saw these undead skeletons. It's not that he's afraid of this person, it's that he doesn't like these skeletons. I wanted to play with you, but I hate these bloodless things. So, sorry. As soon as Zhu Huang finished speaking, his figure had already appeared in front of the necromancer. The necromancer was startled, and a white shield appeared on his body. Then he raised a magic shield to protect the front of his neck. Zhu Huang likes to stab people in the neck. This is a pattern he discovered. Unexpectedly, Zhu Huang sneered. You guessed wrong, I won't stab you in the neck this time. Puff. The necromancer looked at his heart, where a sword was stuck. Fatally injured, his white shield shattered after just a moment of resistance, failing to save him. With the fall of the necromancer, his undead army was also wiped out. Ah, it feels much more comfortable. These disgusting undead make me angry just looking at them. Creatures of flesh and blood are more fun. Zhu Huang was talking to himself, and then looked at the area where the fiery gang was located again. Xiong Ba wanted to find someone to come up, but Tai Kuang stood up and said. No need to waste time, they can't consume his physical strength at all. I will take care of this. Tai Kuang stood more than 2 meters tall. As he slowly walked towards the ring, pieces of armor appeared on his body. Su Ren glanced at Tai Kuang's black gold armor with interest, it looked a bit like Iron Man. Tai Kuang's whole body was covered in metal, looking like a steel giant. The ground trembled slightly with every step he took. It's enough to show the weight of his armor. The audience cheered loudly when they saw Tai Kuang appearing. It's Tai Kuang. Tai Kuang finally couldn't help but take action himself. I didn't expect that today's decisive battle would come so quickly. One Zhu Huang, one Tai Kuang, the strongest spear versus the strongest shield, I don't know who will be the final winner. Boom. Tai Kuang jumped into the ring and looked at Zhu Huang. Zhu Huang's eyes flashed with excitement, he looked at Tai Kuang and praised repeatedly. Okay, finally something interesting comes to me. I'm thinking how can I make this armor of yours become useless? Personally, I prefer the feeling of being riddled with holes. Of course, I prefer the feeling of being cut into pieces. I don't know which one you like. I can fulfill your wish. Tai Kuang sneered. I love smashing you into a patty. Upon hearing this, Zhu Huang clapped his hands excitedly. Haha, okay, let's get started then. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 75. A war between the two sides is about to break out. However, it was Zhu Huang who attacked, while Tai Kuang just stood there without moving. Clang. There was a sound of metal being exchanged. Zhu Huang's sword drew a spark on Tai Kuang's black gold armor. The scratched area still shines with the unique color of Suanjin under the sunlight. And not even a scratch is visible. Tai Kuang took advantage of this moment and punched Zhu Huang, but Zhu Huang jumped away and dodged. Zhu Huang frowned and looked at the black gold armor, and couldn't help but admire. As expected of Xianjin, it seems like there's really nothing I can do against you. Xiong Ba stood up, looked at Tai Kuang who was unharmed, and laughed. Haha, I spent so much money and it was not in vain. The position of city lord this year belongs to me. Ha ha ha. Xiangba laughed again and sat back on the chair. Zhu Huang can't break Tai Kuang's defense, how can he fight now? Isn't it the same that Tai Kuang can't touch Zhu Huang? No, 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 when Zhu Huang is exhausted, Tai Kuang only needs to defend passively. Zhu Huang can't do anything to him anyway. Everyone in the stands had their own opinions, and no one could convince anyone. Cao Tianxiao glanced at Tai Kuang's armor and asked Su Ren. Mr. Ren, if you face Tai Kuang, can you break his defense? Cao Tianxiao also believed that Zhu Huang was destined to lose, so he was already thinking about how Su Ren should deal with Tai Kuang. Why do you want to break his defense? This so-called mysterious gold armor is nothing more than scrap metal in front of me. I want to kill him, easily. The confidence and arrogance in Su Ren's words made Cao Tianxiao begin to wonder whether the person in front of him might be Su Ren. According to his information, Su Ren is not an arrogant person. Aren't Ren Shengsheng and Su Ren the same person? I'll have to take another look. Thinking of this, Cao Tianxiao stopped talking. King Glonghui stands. Dongfang Yu, the young leader of the Qinglong Club, glanced at Su Ren in the stands opposite with confusion. Isn't this person, deceived by Bai Xiaosheng? Why is he in Chao Tian Pavilion's team? And Cao Tianxiao seems to attach great importance to him. Dongfang Yu called her subordinates to inquire, and finally found out that Su Ren was the person Cao Tianxiao invited for the finale this time. It turns out he rescued Cao Shaoqing. He thought he could be used by me, but it seems he can only be my enemy. I just don't know how he survived in the wild for half a month. He must have a secret. Dongfang Yu looked at Dongfang Qinglong and said, Father, I'll save this man's life later. I have something puzzling I want to ask him about. Dongfang Yu pointed at Su Ren. Dongfang Qinglong nodded, it was just a human life, not a big deal. At this time, Zhu Huang had launched another attack on the ring. This time he no longer slashed with his sword, but kept stabbing Tai Kuang's black gold armor with the tip of his sword. Tai Kuang was annoyed by his harassment, roared angrily and jumped up high. Then he hit the ring hard. Boom! A loud noise accompanied the shaking earth. The entire black gold arena seemed to be dented by Tai Kuang's blow. And Zhu Huang almost got punched by Tai Kuang because he couldn't stand firmly. However, he still narrowly avoided it. Damn it, who said Tai Kuang can only defend? If he attacks like this 2 more times, Zhu Huang will be hit by him. It seems that the victory is determined. Zhu Huang has tried his best and cannot break through Tai Kuang's defense. With Tai Kuang's armor and his skills, there will be no problem even if he goes beyond level 100 in combat. Although Zhu Huang is strong enough, the equipment gap is there. Damn it, all I can say is that it's great to have money. If I have this black gold armor, I can't walk sideways wherever I go. Su Ren stared at Zhu Huang for a long time, and finally realized that he was not fast or quick at all. But he has professional skills similar to time. Su Ren had come into contact with professionals who had mastered time, and they even almost defeated him. So he has some knowledge of time professionals. Zhu Huang can know what will happen in 3 seconds, at least 3 seconds in advance. This is the skill of predicting the future. Zhu Huang had already seen Tai Kuang's trick of falling from the sky, so he jumped up in advance to avoid the tremors of the ring. Tai Kuang's subsequent punch was naturally within his prediction. This is where Su Ren understood his skills. But there was another point that Su Ren didn't understand. Zhu Huang had been looking for an opportunity to attack the black gold armor at Tai Kuang's heart. Zhu Huang only used one sword to attack each time, and then left after stabbing him. Su Ren looked intently at Tai Kuang's heart. The black gold armor there still shines brightly, but Su Ren saw a point. It's a very small dot. Under the sunlight, You can't see it clearly unless you look carefully. Xianjin, who is said to have unparalleled defense, actually showed scars. Su Ren seemed to understand what Zhu Huang wanted to do. The battle in the ring continues. Tai Kuang jumped up high and then crashed down for the third time. The arena made of black gold has become concave in the middle and high on all sides. Tai Kuang stood in the depression in the center of the ring, looking at Zhu Huang, who was already unable to stand, and smiled. Do you think you can still find a place to stand? As long as you can't fly, your failure is already doomed. Oh, is it so? Although Zhu Huang looked a little embarrassed, he was still confident. Don't cry when you lose later. Court death. Tai Kuang punched the place where Zhu Huang was standing. Boom. The arena once again sunk into a corner. Zhu Huang dodged the blow and at the same time added a sword. The two got into a fight again. 800 miles away from Sin City, under the flying dust, tens of thousands of troops were advancing towards Sin City like plowing fields. Everyone here is a level 3 or above professional, and such an army is enough to destroy countless cities. After hearing the news, the governor of Yanzhou urgently notified all major guilds across the state to send elders to Huayun City. He didn't know what the ultimate goal of these armies was, but they had to defend against it. Once these people rush into Huayun City, it will be a disaster. Governor, the other party is traveling in the direction of Ziwacheng. It is estimated that something happened in Ziwacheng. Sin City. Today seems to be the day for Sin City to select a new city lord. However, the defense of Sin City is so strong. Even though there are many of these people, it is impossible to break through Sin City. What if it can be broken through? After hearing this, the silent thoughts in Governor Yanzhou's heart became active again. If they can break through Sin City, then we have a chance to easily regain Sin City. Sin City has always been a scar in my heart. If I have the chance, I will erase this scar. Pass on my order. All professionals with rank 3 or above in the state should come to Huayun City and be on standby. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 76. In the arena, the battle between Tai Kuang and Zhu Huang has reached a fever pitch. Neither side was injured or lost blood, but the enthusiasm of those watching the battle was getting higher and higher. They haven't seen such a close battle for a long time. Except for the leaders of the three major forces, no one here is a match for the two of them, right? Hey, I don't think the leaders of the three major forces are necessarily the opponents of these two people. Zhu Huang is said to be close to level 7, at least level 6 and above level 80, coupled with his unparalleled speed. I'm afraid the three leaders may not be his opponents in a one-on-one fight. Tai Kuang is said to be level 6 or above, has a black gold armor suit, and is comparable to the three major bosses in strength. One of these two people will definitely die today, but I don't know who it will be. While everyone was guessing, Zhu Huang saw the opportunity and stabbed Tai Kuang in the chest with his sword again. He used all his strength with this sword. It was precisely because of this sword that he was too close to Tai Kuang. I told you it's all in vain, but you still dare to continue attacking me. Tai Kuang simply ignored his sword. The black gold armor had blocked it for him countless times. So he didn't care. At this distance, he chose to punch Zhu Huang in the head. Crack! There was a sound of metal shattering, followed by the sound of the sword tip piercing the body. Zhu Huang tilted his head, and Tai Kuang's fist hit his shoulder. Zhu Huang flew backwards, and Tai Kuang also took 2 steps back. Looking at the sword stuck on his chest, Tai Kuang didn't understand how he managed to break through his black gold armor. Looking at this scene, Su Ren did not show any surprise. He had long understood that Zhu Huang had been attacking one point, no matter how strong the defense was, he would be attacked continuously at the same place. It will also collapse, just like a drop of water piercing a stone. Many people in the stands stood up immediately. Has the winner been determined? Tai Kuang's mysterious gold armor was actually broken. It seems that the sword in Zhu Wang's hand is not ordinary, at least it is a legendary weapon, right? Zhu Huang was also punched hard. I wonder if he is dead. When Xiong Ba, leader of the Agni gang, saw this scene, he couldn't help but look worriedly at Tai Kuang standing on the ring. He spent such a high price, is he going to lose? He absolutely cannot accept this result. Dongfang Qinglong is neither sad nor happy, and Zhu Wang's life and death seems to have nothing to do with him. He just picked up his watch and looked at the time again. Cao Tianxiao laughed loudly. Great, they fought so hard that both sides suffered losses. Mr. Ren, next is your chance to show off. Su Ren ignored him and just looked at the two people on the ring quietly. Ahem. Zhu Huang got up from the ground. His right shoulder was punched, and the entire shoulder looked like it was dented. Zhu Wang's blow cost him half of his blood. Because of the injury and bleeding, his blood volume was still slowly dropping. But it won't affect his life. Tai Kuang, I know you're not dead yet, but do you think you still have a chance? Your black gold armor has been broken, now it's my turn to perform. Zhu Huang made a move with his left hand, and the sword that had penetrated Tai Kuang's chest flew back. His left hand was something he wasn't used to, but it was enough. Tai Kuang lightly covered his chest. The sword just now almost pierced his heart. There are two fatal places in the human body, the brain and the heart. If it is punctured in other places, it is just a matter of how much blood is lost. But if these two places are destroyed, no one can survive. Seeing Zhu Huang, who was eager to attack him again, Tai Kuang decided to strike with his life. The defense he was proud of has been broken, and there is no point in defending anymore. The only way out now is to fight hard to see whose life is tougher. Hey hey! Zhu Huang licked the blood from the corner of his mouth, held the sword in his left hand and killed Tai Kuang. When the two were about to collide, Tai Kuang roared. The black gold armor all over his body collapsed and flew out. Although Zhu Huang had predicted it, he could no longer react and dodge at this distance. Puff! Puff! The sounds of two bodies being penetrated sounded at the same time. Zhu Huang flew backwards again, and his right shoulder was directly cut off by fragments of the armor. And Tai Kuang's heart had been pierced by a long sword. Boom! Tai Kuang fell straight to the ground. Ha 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 ha! Zhu Huang stood up unsteadily and laughed crazily. He still had less than 20% of his health left, but he was the winner in the end. Although he won miserably, it was enough. Zhu Huang wins. I didn't expect that he would be the winner in the end. Xiong Ba looked towards the ring reluctantly. He has no chance of becoming the city lord this year. There are still people from the other two families who are not showing up. Can Zhu Huang survive to the end like this? Only then did everyone look at the area where Chaotian Pavilion was located. The finalist from Chaotian Pavilion hasn't appeared yet. I'm afraid Chaotian Pavilion is the final winner. Don't underestimate Zhu Huang. He is seriously injured and should not be underestimated. Cao Tianxiao also looked at Su Ren at this time. Mr. Ren, how about you appear next? Zhu Huang seems to be dying. Although Cao Tianxiao said this, he knew in his heart that even if Zhu Huang was seriously injured, ordinary people were still no match for him. If he can save a few of his own people, he will naturally do so. Su Ren had taken so much money from him, and he would not be happy if Su Ren got it in vain. Su Ren just nodded slightly. It made no difference to him to appear first and then later. It's better to finish early and leave early. The people from Chaotian Pavilion have come out, and it looks like the foreign aid they just invited yesterday. Watching Su Ren step onto the ring. Zhu Huang took back his long sword and looked at Su Ren with a playful expression. Do you really think I'm at the end of my rope now? I only need one move to kill you. Oh, is it so? Su Ren looked at him and asked. I heard you like having people's blood splattered on you. I wonder if you have ever thought about dyeing your own clothes red with your own blood. Haha, you can try and see if you can hurt me. Zhu Huang moved after saying this. But the next second, a look of intense panic appeared on his face. Zhu Huang stopped and wanted to dodge, but he didn't know how to dodge. At this time, Su Ren's voice slowly sounded on the ring. I know you can foresee the results in the next few seconds, so you should know your fate. Predicting the future is indeed a very powerful skill. It's a pity that when you met me, you could only watch your own death, but there was nothing you could do to change the outcome. After Su Ren finished speaking, he stretched out his right hand and shook it in the air. Zhu Huang's body twisted and deformed like a twist, and then blood spurted out from all parts of his body. His clothes successfully turned into his favorite color. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 77. At this time, the whole place was silent. Everyone who was having a heated discussion just now fell silent and looked at the scene in surprise, no, in horror. Zhu Huang, who was so arrogant a second ago, was instantly killed by an unknown person. And the death was so horrific. The way of death is unforgettable. How did he turn Zhu Huang into a mummy? Some people looked at Su Ren on the ring with some trembling. I don't know, it's so evil. Which one of these people is not a criminal, and which one has no blood on his hands? But when I saw this scene, I suddenly felt that the fighting arena with tens of thousands of people had become colder. Everyone present stood on their heads with chills. It was as if the sunshine, which was approaching noon, could not add any warmth to them. Who is this man? Why have I never heard of him? This kind of killing method cannot be done by an unknown person. While everyone was shocked, only Cao Tianxiao clapped his hands happily. Okay, great job. This city lord is mine. Cao Tianxiao saw Su Ren's methods yesterday. Although he was still a little surprised, he was not as unbelievable as others. The remaining 7 people in Chaotian Pavilion who were not on the field breathed a sigh of relief at the same time. Su Ren's performance meant that they didn't have to die today. Those who did not appear from the other 2 major forces were definitely not Su Ren's opponents. But one family is happy and 2 are sad. A few people from the Qinglong Club and the fiery gang who had not yet appeared were so frightened that they broke out in cold sweat. The 2 most important foreign aides of my family are dead, so there is no difference between them going up and dying. Xiang Ba was still immersed in Tai Kuang's death and couldn't extricate himself. But seeing Su Ren kill Zhu Huang instantly with one move, he smiled happily. Haha, they are all making wedding clothes for others, and the Qinglong society can't even hope to get the position of city lord. It's a pity that this piece of shit Cao Tianxiao missed it. This insidious villain deliberately hides his clumsiness. No wonder others say that a biting dog never barks. I finally understand today. Dongfang Qinglong glanced at Zhu Huang, who had become a mummy, and then looked at Su Ren. There was a hint of surprise on his originally calm face at this time. This person's strength may not be inferior to mine in terms of just this weird skill. But no matter how strong he is only one person. He can't change today's results. Dongfang Yu interrupted her father's thinking and asked. Father, do we still need to send someone up? Dongfang Qinglong nodded. Of course, today's performance is not over yet. The fun is yet to come. Dongfang Yu heard this and pointed at someone at random. The man pointed out by Dongfang Yu was so frightened that he knelt down and begged for mercy. Young master, please spare your life. Under such circumstances, he had long been frightened to the point of losing his fighting spirit. How could he dare to go on stage? Boom. Dongfang Qinglong killed this man with a random punch. Is there anyone who doesn't dare to go up? The end will be the same as him. The audience in the martial arts arena looked towards the area where the Qinglong club was located. Unexpectedly, Dongfang Qinglong directly killed one of his own people. The root cause of all this was because these people were afraid of the man in the ring. This person named Ren Pingsheng brought greater pressure than Zhu Huang and Tai Kuang. Dongfang Yu once again pointed to someone, who was also one of the 10 people participating in this competition. If you are timid before fighting, you will also die. If you go up and fight, you still have a chance to survive. Zhu Huang was killed instantly by that man just now because he was seriously injured. What are you afraid of? Dongfang Yu's words seemed to give this man confidence, and he also knew that he would die if he didn't play. So under the threat of death, he mustered up the courage to enter the ring. The cooldown of Suren's River God skill is only 60 seconds. By the time the Qinglonghui people come on stage, the cooldown has already been completed. Seeing that the other party dared to send people up, Suren decided to give them another shocking scene. I saw the person who came to power from the Qinglong Association had just taken out his weapon, and then heard a bang. The people sent by the Qinglong Society exploded like watermelons. Not to mention resisting, he was already dead without a single skill. Facing these people, Suren didn't feel any guilt at all. Few of these people who come to Sui City are innocent. Anyone caught at random has a few lives on his hands. Seeing this scene, the whole place fell silent again. What is his profession? Is this a demon awakened? I was so scared that I almost vomited out my breakfast. They were not good people to begin with, but after seeing Suren's weird methods, they suddenly felt that what they had done before was simply childish. This man is the real devil. After the death of the Green Dragon Club member, the game continues. This time it's the Agni Gang's turn. Gang leader, please have mercy. Several people from the Agni Gang participating in the competition begged for mercy. They dared to fight against someone like Zhu Huang. But Suren's method of killing invisible people scared them so much that they didn't even have the courage to go on stage. The unknown is the scariest thing. Xiangba glanced at Suren, with the same fear in his eyes. If it were him on the field, he would be equally scared, but in front of tens of thousands of people, how could he give in without a fight? This made other people think that he was afraid of Xiangba. Gang leader, why don't we forget it and save some strength? This person is too weird. We have no chance to fight for the city master this year, so we might as well retain our strength and fight again next year. The military advisor next to Xiangba saw Xiangba's hesitation, so he stood up and gave Xiangba a step down. Hearing what the military advisor said, Xiangba nodded and pretended to be loud. The military advisor is right. We, the people of the Lihuo gang, are not afraid of life and death, but we will not die without reason. We abstain from this battle. The gang leader is wise. The people from the Agni gang shouted in unison. The happiest people are naturally those who participated in the competition. They finally saved their lives. The fire gang actually gave up. But it's normal. This person is so evil. Who dares to go up there? Now only Qinglong will face Chaotian Pavilion alone. I just don't know if the Qinglong Club will abstain. If they abstain again, then this year's city lord will be from Chaotian Pavilion. Cao Tianxiao had a smile on his face at this time, and his position as city lord was secure. It doesn't matter whether Qinglonghui gives up or not. Resistance is nothing more than giving away 2 more heads. Everyone looked at the Qinglong Club, wanting to see their reaction. Dongfang Qinglong just said 2 words lightly. Continue. This is undoubtedly a death notice for one of them. Dongfang Yu glanced at her father, but frowned and said nothing more. Now it can be said that he has clearly seen Ren's strength, and he doesn't understand why his father still lets people go up and die. but he would not disobey his father's orders. Dongfang Yu pointed at someone again. This one, you go. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 78. Outside Sin City, tens of thousands of troops have arrived at the city gate. Originally faced with this situation, the city defenders would first sound the alarm, and then activate the energy shield to prevent these people from rushing into the city. But when these people arrived under the city gate, there was still no movement in the city. Instead, the closed city gate was opened a little, until it was fully opened. A thin figure walked out of the city, looked at the two leaders in front of the army and said, "All communication equipment in the city has been blocked. Divide 5,000 people each into the Lihuo Gang and Chaotian Pavilion and kill them all." The rest of the people went to the martial arts arena, leaving no one behind except the Blue Dragon Club. The two leaders nodded and led the army into the city quickly. Inside Huoyun City. "Sir Governor, the army composed of the Yu Kingdom and the Tai Kingdom has entered Sin City." "What are you talking about? No one is defending the city. They met no resistance at all and someone even opened the door for them. How is this going?" Zhang Taihe looked at everyone. The others were also confused. "Mr. Governor, could it be that some of the three major forces in Sin City are cooperating with professionals from those two countries to eradicate the other two forces?" Zhang Taihe shook his head and said. "Then what's the difference between him doing this and luring a wolf into the house? Without the defense of Ziwacheng, these people can completely massacre any force." Everyone thought for a long time but couldn't figure out the reason. "No matter what, wait until all the professionals come to Huoyun City, and then leave for Sin City immediately. No matter what happens inside, the mantis stalks the cicada, and the oriole is behind. Let's be the oriole." Zhang Taihe has made up his mind to take back Suchin today. The Dragon Kingdom invested a lot of combat power in the abyss and the outer battlefield, and had no time to take care of a small Sin City. This is also Zhang Taihe's only chance to take back Sin City. Inside the Sin City martial arts arena. The game is still going on, watching the members of the Blue Dragon Club being killed by Suren again. Everyone understands that there is no need to continue the comparison today. Even if the remaining members of the Qinglong Club come together, they cannot be the opponent of this person in the ring. But Dongfang Qinglong seemed to have no intention of giving up. The remaining members of the Blue Dragon Society could only bravely walk up. "Huh? Why is there no signal on the phone?" At this time, someone finally discovered something was wrong. "Do you have a signal?" "No, my cell phone has no signal either." "What happened?" Cao Tianxiao noticed something was wrong immediately and asked the person next to him. "Why haven't our people come back to report the situation outside?" He had already ordered his subordinates to report to him the situation outside every 10 minutes. It has been more than 10 minutes now, and everyone's communication devices seem to have lost signal. Someone is causing trouble. Cao Tianxiao looked towards the area where the Qinglong Club was. Dongfang Qinglong and his son, who were originally there just now, have disappeared. "Wrong!" Cao Tianxiao roared. "Leave the fighting arena quickly." Before the others could realize what was happening, they saw densely packed flying beasts suddenly appearing in the sky. Then countless arrow feathers, magic, and energy cannonballs were thrown into the fighting arena. "Pavilion Master, you can't get out, the martial arts arena has been sealed with a large formation." This old man Dongfang Qinglong must be him. He didn't even spare his own people. Cao Tianxiao and everyone in Chaotian Pavilion hid in a corner to resist this dense attack. "Can anyone tell me what happened?" Xiangbei stood up and looked into the air. The military advisor on the side quickly said, "Gang leader, find a place to defend first. Disciples of the Lihuo Gang, come closer to me." After Xiangbei roared, his figure skyrocketed and he was already over 3 meters tall in an instant. He wielded the giant hammer with both hands and smashed the attacking skills crazily. As for other spectators watching the battle, some were still in a state of confusion. Those who reacted began to look for cover. It's just that the fighting arena is clearly visible, so there's no place to protect them. Chao Tian Pavilion and Lihuo Gang were just relying on their boss to resist. Su Ren looked at the skills all over the sky and glanced at the dirt under the ring. Whether it's dirt or sand, if you bring water, it's under his control. Su Ren controlled tens of meters of soil to form a 360-degree defensive shield with no blind spots. Boom! The first spell of magic exploded in the martial arts arena. Then there were continuous explosions. Faced with this sudden attack, tens of thousands of people in the fighting arena had no defense at all. Countless people died tragically directly under the first round of bombing. But this is just the beginning, and the attacks from outside have no intention of stopping. Outside the fighting arena, Dong Fangyu looked at her father and said puzzledly, "Father, our people are still inside." He knew that his father had united with outsiders to control Sin City, but why did he also kill his own people? He couldn't understand. It's just a few lives, it's nothing. Dongfang Qinglong remained calm and composed. Dongfang Yu glanced at the attacking Taiguo and Ueguo coalition forces, and couldn't help but worry. But father, there are tens of thousands of them. Even if we destroy the Lihuo Gang and Chaotian Pavilion, how can we be their opponents? Dongfang Qinglong smiled. You'll know your father's plan later. At this time, the entire Sin City was in chaos. The coalition forces of the two countries rushed into the city and started killing. Some of the people in the city were resisting, while others were running for their lives. But like the people in the fighting arena, they had no place to escape. It's just that one is a smaller cage and the other is a larger cage. This was a one-sided massacre. In the martial arts arena, after several minutes of violent bombardment, all the sounds finally stopped. The crying and wailing at the beginning also became silent in the martial arts arena. The leaders of the two coalition forces looked at Dongfang Qinglong. Dongfang Qinglong, I hope you can do what you promised us. Dongfang Qinglong nodded. That's natural. There are still people alive inside. Come with me and kill them all. The two looked at each other and led the army to rush into the martial arts arena following Dongfang Qinglong. Now there are at least tens of thousands of them, and they are not afraid of Dongfang Qinglong's mischief at all. If Dongfang Qinglong dares to make any changes, they won't mind turning against the guests. At this time, the martial arts arena had been bombed to its original state. There were stumps of limbs and broken arms everywhere on the ground, and only a few thousand of the tens of thousands of people were killed. Most of the people who survived were from the Agni Gang and Chaotian Pavilion. However, their situation is not as good as imagined. Most of the people would have been injured if Cao Tianxiao and Xiong Ba hadn't reunited in the last few minutes. More of these people will die. Cao Tianxiao looked at the corpses on the ground and roared. Dongfang Qinglong is an old man, I will kill him. Oh! Pavilion Master Cao, are you talking about me? Dongfang Qinglong slowly walked in with tens of thousands of people. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 79. After Dongfang Qinglong came in, he first looked at the high mounds of soil in the field. He guessed that there were professionals such as earth mages inside, but he didn't care. Now his main target is the remaining members of the Agni Gang and Chaotian Pavilion. Dongfang Qinglong, I will smash your head. Xiong Ba picked up the giant hammer and jumped up. Although he has an average mind, how could he not understand what happened at this time? Dongfang Qinglong actually colluded with people from other countries to get rid of the two of them and dominate the city. Looking at the Xiongba coming towards him, Dongfang Qinglong took a few steps back. Atta, I leave this person to you to deal with. One of the leaders of the two countries nodded and walked out, took out his weapon and fought with Xiongba. Although Cao Tianxiao shouted that he wanted to kill Dongfang Qinglong, he was thinking about how to escape. However, the surrounding area was imprisoned by a large formation, and he could not rush out. He could only take out his weapons and fight with Xiongba. Now their numbers are inherently disadvantageous. If Xiongba is besieged to death by the opponent, he will not survive. The moment Cao Tianxiao came over to fight, another leader of the two countries stood up to fight with him. Xiongba's military advisor shouted when he saw this. Everyone listen to my instructions, let's fight our way out together. If any of you dare to escape now, no one of you will survive. Those who did not belong to the three major forces consciously joined the resistance team after hearing this. They also understand that if they don't unite together today, they will be the ones who die. But even so, how could a makeshift team like theirs be a match for the opponent's well-trained army? What's more, the gap in numbers between the two sides is huge. Suren hid in the mound and took out the magic sword Thousand Blades in his hand. Today it seems that even if you don't want to be exposed, you must be exposed. Just as the two sides were fighting, Dongfang Qinglong quietly walked out with his son. Father, why don't you take action and kill Xiongba and the others quickly? Are you trying to reap the benefits? Dongfang Qinglong shook his head, yes, and no. Do you really think that your father wants to dominate this sinful city? Isn't it? Dongfang Yu was confused. Haha, of course not. What I want is the blood of these people. At this time, the expression on Dongfang Qinglong's face became sinister. Did you know that there is an ancient formation that can refine the blood of others to increase your own potential? What? Increased potential. Dongfang Yu's face was filled with horror. As we all know, career potential in this world is doomed from the moment of awakening. Otherwise, it would be impossible for people with different potentials to be treated differently. Now his father actually said that he could use formations to refine other people's blood to increase his potential. How could this not surprise him? Father, is this true? Dongfang Yu still didn't believe it. Dongfang Qinglong knew that his son couldn't believe it for a moment, just like when he just got this formation. After all, it is ingrained in everyone's mind that potential cannot be changed. Dongfang Qinglong explained. This is the only way to increase potential, but because this method is too cruel, it has long been lost. According to legend, everyone's basic potential can reach up to 10 stars. So even a father with 5-star basic potential can break through the upper limit. With the blood of nearly 100,000 people, I can at least increase the potential of 3 stars. You should understand what the potential of 3 more stars means. Dongfang Yu nodded. Of course he understands that the higher the level, the greater the gap in basic attributes for each 1 star of potential. The potential of 3 stars, if given to his father, can at least bring him an all-round basic attribute bonus of 3 times 10 times 7 50 times 5 equal 112,500. This is a quite scary number, considering the potential of only adding 1 star per turn. If Dongfang Qinglong obtains a 3-star potential increase, it is equivalent to someone else's 10-turn potential. And in this world, we have never heard of anyone who can turn 10 times. It seems that 9 turns is already the limit. Father, when will we take action? Don't worry, let them fight to the death first. Dongfang Qinglong raised his head and glanced at the team of flying beasts lingering in the air. These people are basically long-range archers and mages. After just a few minutes of crazy bombardment, it is now returning to the state of blue replenishment. Naturally, these people are also in his calculations. At this time, a thin figure ran from a distance in 2 or 3 steps, then knelt down on one knee and said to Dongfang Qinglong, Master, the city defense cannon has been aimed at the team of flying pet beasts in the air, and can fire at any time to shoot them down. Okay, start in 3 minutes. In 3 minutes, Xiangba and Cao Tianxiao should be almost dead. Yes, master. The thin man stood up and left. Outside Huayun City, Zhang Taihe, the governor of Yanzhou, led the assembled army of professionals and headed towards the city. Many people were confused when they were called over, not knowing what was going on. Brother, what's going on? What are we going to do? Someone in the know explained. I heard that something happened in Zihuacheng. The coalition forces of Yu Kingdom and Taiguo have invaded Zihuacheng. The governor wants to take advantage of the situation. No, he wants to be the oriole eating the mantis. The city of Sin was breached? How is this possible? Isn't it said that the city of Sin cannot be breached by an army of more than 100,000 professionals? The reason why Sin City is difficult to break does not mean how strong the people in Sin City are, nor does it mean that Sin City's defense is really impenetrable. But Zihuacheng has the ability to hold back all attackers. It takes about 3 hours to reach Suchin from the nearest big city. It takes 6 hours to go back and forth. As long as Zihuacheng insists on spending 6 hours during the day, the attackers will naturally retreat automatically. Because people will die at night outside the city, and it doesn't matter how many people there are. This is the reason why Sin City has not been conquered for decades. I don't know how those people conquered Sin City. Anyway, the governor attaches great importance to this opportunity. It is said that the governor has received full support from above. I'm afraid there is a real chance to recover the city this time. After hearing this, someone worried. It's almost noon now, and our siege time is only about 4 hours at most. Can this really be defeated? What are you afraid of? If we can defeat Sin City this time, we will all be heroes. We will definitely go down in history. And who are the people in Sin City? If we kill anyone, we can get the official reward. If you can kill dozens of people, won't you make a fortune? Does this mean that by conquering Sin City this time, we can gain both fame and fortune? That's natural. Okay, I'll risk my life to kill a few more this time. I changed my profession and became a concept god, shocking the world with one knife. Author, How Like the Human World. Chapter 80. In the martial arts arena, as time went by, the fighting between the two sides became more and more fierce. The people from the Lihuo Gang and Chaotian Pavilion were besieged by tens of thousands of people, with only a few hundred people left. Even Cao Tianxiao's son Cao Shaoqing died in the rebellion. He was only in level 3, so it was not easy to survive the initial bombing. Now without Cao Tianxiao's protection, a tragic death on the spot is inevitable. Ah! Seeing the tragic death of his son with his own eyes, Cao Tianxiao roared and fought back Songpa, another leader who was blocking him. Holding his son's body in his arms, Cao Tianxiao was heartbroken. He fought for his whole life, and in the end he couldn't even save his only son. Now that Chaotian Pavilion is over, his wives are probably in trouble. Under the 3 blows, Cao Tianxiao looked like he was crazy and killed Songpa desperately. At this moment, the sound of hundreds of city defense cannons on the walls of Sui City rang out. Hundreds of blue energy spurted out, pointing directly at the team of flying beasts above the fighting arena. These people were originally sitting on the flying pet beast and returning to normal state. Who would have thought that they would be attacked from behind? Boom! 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 Continuous gunshots filled the sky. The flying pet beast team of the Taiguo and Yueguo alliance were bombarded and fell down. The densely packed flying beasts were flying around like headless flies trying to escape. But in the end, it cannot escape the ending of destruction. Ada and Songpo looked into the air, and then looked at the position behind them. Dongfang Qinglong had already disappeared. Dongfang Qinglong! You despicable person! Ada fended off Xiongba with an axe, trying to exit the martial arts arena. But at this time, blood-colored formations appeared in Martial City. In less than a moment, the entire martial arts arena was covered by this bloody formation. At this time, the fighting between the two sides finally stopped, and everyone looked at the formation patterns under their feet in surprise. What is this? Ada didn't care about this, and the people with him rushed outside. However, an invisible shield directly blocked everyone back. Dongfang Qinglong stood on a flying pet beast, looking down at everyone in the martial arts arena. Dongfang Qinglong, I will kill you. Cao Tianxiao jumped suddenly. Boom! The invisible shield bounced him back. Dongfang Qinglong, what exactly do you want to do? Ada and Sampa glared at him. They haven't dealt with Dongfang Qinglong yet, but they didn't expect Dongfang Qinglong to take action first. Dongfang Qinglong opened his hands and laughed wildly. Ha 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 ha, you will soon become my nourishment on the way forward, so I'd better think about my last words. Oh, no, it doesn't make any difference whether you leave a last message or not. No one will know anyway. You should be happy that you can witness the birth of an 8-star potential person. Xiongba looked at the military advisor beside him and asked. What did he mean by that? The military advisor shook his head and said he didn't know either. Since you want to know, I will let you understand even if you die. I have already laid out a blood sacrifice formation at your feet. This is the result of my planning for more than 10 years. For this grand formation, I have spent all my savings over the past few decades on it. So, don't think that tens of thousands of people can break my formation in a short time. Dongfang Qinglong looked at Cao Tianxiao and said with a smile. Originally, I was afraid that the plan would not be implemented smoothly, so I wanted to invite Pavilion Master Cao to join us. However, your son was rescued, so I had no choice but to give up. Fortunately, the plan this time was perfect, so perfect that it felt so unreal to me. Now you can feel the power of this formation. Dongfang Qinglong threw dozens of raw energy stones in his hand around the martial arts arena. Then there was just a buzz sound. The bloody light curtain slowly rose, trapping everyone in the fighting arena like half an eggshell. You are suffering from a curse, and all current attributes are reduced by 50%. You are suffering from a curse, currently minus 3000 HP per second. You are suffering from a curse, and your 5 senses are affected. Everyone looked at the prompt and suddenly panicked. Everyone, attack the shield. Someone shouted, and those who could still move took out their weapons and attacked the shield. Dongfang Qinglong looked at the panicked crowd below and laughed. Don't waste your efforts. All your mages have been wiped out. How can you, warriors without explosive power, still want to break this formation? It's just a daydream. As soon as Dongfang Qinglong finished speaking, a sword light flashed out in the center of the martial arts arena. Crack! The shield of the blood sacrifice formation shattered like glass. The curse effect caused by the formation also disappeared immediately. The smile on Dongfang Qinglong's face solidified instantly. What happened? Dongfang Qinglong looked down in panic. How could the blood sacrifice formation be broken? This is impossible. Everyone in the martial arts arena looked around blankly. They were in a life and death crisis just now, but it seems they have been saved. The great formation that enveloped them disappeared. Cao Tianxiao suddenly thought of something and turned to look at the location of the martial arts arena. I saw the high bulging mound of earth in the arena collapse suddenly, and a young man slowly walked out of it holding a knife. Suren had no choice but to take action. If he didn't take action, he would be refined by this formation. Now that he has taken action, Suren doesn't care about exposing his identity. You are really Suren. Cao Tianxiao looked at Suren in shock. In this case, he could only think that Suren took action. Because in the whole world, only Suren has an instant kill skill. Turns out he was right. Hearing Cao Tianxiao's exclamation, everyone looked at Suren. Not many people in the Yuan Tai kingdoms knew Suren. But most people in Ziwicheng still know that there is such a person. In any case, most of the locations of Sin City are within the borders of the Dragon Kingdom. They naturally know the major events that happened in the Dragon Kingdom. Suren, he is the young genius Suren from the Dragon Kingdom. Why is he in Sin City? No, how did he come out of the ring? At this time, Xiongba's military advisor said thoughtfully. Pavilion Master Cao, is he the foreign aide you invited? Cao Tianxiao nodded. Yes, I don't know his identity, I just have some guesses. I didn't expect it to be him. At this time someone shouted. Don't worry about him yet, kill this bastard Dongfang Qinglong first. Yes, kill this bitch first. Damn it, how could this happen? Seeing that the situation was over, Dongfang Qinglong glared at Suren and left on the flying beast. But the next second, his pet beast screamed miserably, turned into a mummy, and fell down with Dongfang Qinglong.